So, when the drought was coming, we'd have save water like everybody else. Try to get this thing going. When we filled it up, a friend of mine gave me some tilapia, little bitty. Well, we ended up with about 100 pounds last year without even trying. So this year I went ahead and filled it, and I think we're going to get 300 or 400 pounds of fish for free. They live on algae. All you do is fertilize the water. Cool, huh? And so we've been eating a lot of fish this year. And I do think fish is good. This main thing may not come up. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. I had a little thing I'd thrown together. And the reason is I want to remind myself about a few things I want to tell you. Then we'll officially get started. Huh? I am not a vegetarian. I said I was for years. And I want to explain why I'm not. If I get my show up. I can explain it without my show up. I recently did this show as a cooking show, but only as talking, a week ago in Blanco, Texas. It's the first time I've actually done where I went to tell people how to cook instead of cooking. And I got very excited about it because they really were interested and they really seemed to be listening to what we had to say. So I'm going to go back and tell you a little bit about the way I think about food. This gentleman asked me already if I'm a vegetarian. I'm not any longer. I was, off and on, several times in my life. I decided, there's a guy named Dr. Weston Price. If anybody's going to take notes, if you don't, you can go to my website, natureapproved.net, and all this is there. So you don't have to remember any of it if you don't want. But the Weston A. Price Foundation, or organization, WestonAPrice.org, is, I think Sally Fallon is the president right now, and she's going to be, for those who get really interested, the keynote speaker at our TAFCA conference in Bryan College Station, the first day of February, first weekend of February this coming year. And when you listen to this, if you're intrigued, she's really the, I stole all the information from her. That I did. She is one that, again, Weston, Dr. Price was a dentist. He was a very successful dentist. He made a lot of money. And he set out to find the perfect place in the world with the perfect diet. Does that mean? I don't need that thing. Yeah. No, it's the wind. Not a very good windscreen. Anyway, he originally was a vegetarian, I understand. He decided not to be because as he traveled around the world, he found that nowhere did he find a perfect vegetarian diet where everybody was perfectly healthy. Whereas when he went to some of the Polynesian islands and some of the other places where they did have a percentage of meat, they didn't live on it, and they had good vegetables and good oils and good things. And remember what he judged him by, when I say he was a dentist. The first thing, and when you get his book, you'll be surprised, there's lots of pictures of teeth. And he went by how pretty your teeth were and how solid they were and how old you kept them, along with other criteria. But his first thing, and he shows you these natives of different parts of the world with the prettiest, straightest, cleanest, whitest, no decayed teeth you've ever seen. And when you get to looking into what they ate, they had a mixture of fine foods that you and I, and some of it have been vilified to eat today. Among those, and I'll be cooking with some today, is coconut oil, which we've been told was awful for you for years. Palm oil, which was the next most awful thing you're supposed to eat. How about tallow from good beef that my grandma cooked with all the time? Real good old grease from real cattle. Now, what happened that all at once it wasn't good for us? Well, first, it was, a lot of it, but the people that wanted to make canola oil came in, the people that wanted to make soy oil came in, the people that wanted to sell you transgenic fat oils that they had invented to take the place, and it was much cheaper, so they made much more profit, literally put a campaign out to vilify these natural greases and natural oils. And they did a very successful job. They convinced us so that they got us from a decent thing that was good for us to some really crappy transgenic stuff. And what are we doing now? We've discovered it and we're trying to get back out of that business. Illegal in New York State, New York City, did y'all know that? Can't cook with transgenic fats at all. You can't use it in a single restaurant or nobody can make it. You cannot have a commercial place to buy food that you use transgenics. Happening in a number of other cities. I don't use it. I use 3 or 4, they kick it in. I say something. They are going to do it in San Francisco. They're going to do it in another number of cities. And I urge all of you to do it. And I don't go anywhere they use it. Some of the people will surprise you. KFC is now off of transgenic fat. 100%. Taco Bell. Even though I don't go to Taco Bell per se, at least they're trying to walk the walk. One that I used to think was good back when I ate a lot, and when I was, incidentally, I was about 35 pounds heavier. I did change my whole concept when I decided to do this. And incidentally, I should tell you, I was heavy on organic food. You can get overweight eating vegetables. You know, if you eat too much of anything, okay, so don't let it fool you. Oh, I'm a vegetarian. I can't get, yeah, you can. I'm a vouch for it. So anyway, I changed my concept. I went and got rid of all those oils. I don't even use canola unless it's cold pressed. My number one oil is olive oil. First pressed, extra virgin. Everybody says, well, if you get the others, you can cook hotter with them. You know, because they're more purified, they can go up before the smoke point, which we'll talk about, gets where it's dangerous for you. Okay? I don't do that. I don't cook that hot. I just won't do it. So I don't need a hotter oil. It's not necessary. If I'm going to do something hotter, coconut oil, palm oil, grease, tallow from what now? Grass-fed beef. The secret, the reason we're getting so much trouble with this beef is that it is an abomination. It's not beef that God made. It's beef that we've poured everything in the world into. The last 120 days they give them shots and they put things under their skin so they gain an extra 80 pounds on that cow, so they get an extra $200 for that cow for one reason, just for the buck. I don't want to eat that meat. I call them Franken farms. They're raising these things, 5,000 cattle on 400 acres. You're asking for a disease. You're asking for mad cow disease. You're asking for, what is this one that they talk about? The bird one, bird flu, right? Folks, I don't have a better term. Those are man-made diseases. I'll tell you what you can liken it to, and all of us are right age to remember this. When I was a kid, I'll tell you, I was a herpetology major. Believe it or not, I studied turtles. I'm a turtle nut. Back when I was a kid, you could buy little green turtles for 99 cents, and they took them off the market. Why? Salmonella. Where do you think those turtles get salmonella? In Louisiana, they raised 10,000 of them in a 2,000-gallon tank. It was primordial soup these little turtles swam in till they got to the aquariums that you go to buy them. And if that kid licked his fingers after he'd been in that turtle that had lived in its own crap since birth, damn right he got sick. They made them illegal. You can go out right now, I promise you, go to Guadalupe and suck some turtles. You're not going to get salmonella from them. It's a Franken farm problem. You can't put that kind of number of animals together, whether it's chickens or turtles or goats or cattle, and expect yourself not to ask for diseases. It's just really ridiculous. All right, let's go on. I've done my preaching. We'll go through a few things. I'll pass the thing later if y'all want to put some money in it for some tithe. I'm going to talk a little bit about cast iron. I use it a lot. I use it almost exclusively. Here's what I don't use. I never touch Teflon. Teflon is not good for you. There's 93% of every child born in this nation in the last 5 years has Teflon in their body when they're born. 93%, virtually 100%. DuPont just paid in 2003 the largest fine ever imposed by the government on any company because a man that worked for them was the scientist when they invented Teflon. He did a 1,200-page document